We will now shift over to the main event from Cancun, Mexico on DAZN. We had another rematch. Tevin Farmer versus William Zepeda. Now, the first time there was a lot of controversy. Zepeda retained his title by a split decision. This was another very interesting fight, very close fight.
I know people get on us about how we pronounce names. Is it Zepeda or Zepeda?
I believe Zepeda.
Okay, Zepeda. Then that's good. Zepeda for me. Peter, Zepeda. No problem. Tomato. Fine. I'm with you. But I know, you get some of these people that say, oh, not pronouncing right. Hey, me, I'm not supposed to pronounce them right. I mean, if I start pronouncing them right, you know what? Somebody's going to say, wait a minute. Check that guy's DNA. That's an imposter. That's not Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas never pronounced the name right. Well, a couple. I got a couple right, but not too many.
Zepeda. So, I thought it was a really good fight. Another close fight. Zepeda is always fun to watch, right? You know what you're getting. He comes forward, all pressure, tons of punches, doesn't stop. And Farmer, as he's getting older and 34 years old now, he's changed, right? He's not as cute as he used to with all the movement in boxing and movement. He makes for more fan-friendly fights and has to stay in there and engage more. I thought Zepeda early on was having his way, was up on the cards. In the second round, it appeared that Farmer might have injured his elbow or his hand, but he persevered. He found his spots. He was able to land some shots on Zepeda. Some beautiful uppercuts, mixed it up, some good action. In the end, Zepeda gets a decision, retains his belt, wins the rematch. What'd you think of this decision? What'd you think of this fight overall?
Give this guy a bonus, Farmer, and give him an easier fight. Please, can somebody let him get off of this track of fighting nothing but tough fights and celebrate and just celebrate and appreciate what he gives us at this stage of his career. There's a kid who's got a great story. He comes from Philadelphia, a real fight city, and he didn't have any amateur background to speak of, about 15, 16 fights, whatever. He didn't have any big amateur background. He didn't start like some of the great fighters start when they're 9, 10, 11 years old. He started a little later, But man, this guy learned how to fight. He has instincts. He's got guts. He's got heart. He used to be trickier and cuter than he was, but now he's getting hit more. One of the reasons he's getting hit more is because he's getting older. He's getting a little shop worn. There's miles on the odometer. All of that, and he's fighting relentless guys. I mean, this guy's such a relentless guy. The guy makes a lot of mistakes. He's vulnerable defensively, Zepeda. Either one of them, their defense ain't good. Zepeda's not good, and Zepeda's defense needs to get better. Both of them. But at the end of the day, when you're fighting a guy who keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps... By the way, they were both southpaws, and they keep coming, and you got to fight a guy like that. Wow. You got to have heart. You got to have conditioning. You got to have mental toughness. You have to have guile. You have to have desire. You got to have everything. And Farmer, he is at a point now where my son said it right, where he was a real cutie pie, where, he was hard to touch. He'd make you miss, pop, move, use his legs, move his head. He was a real... Now that as he gets older, which happens to everybody, reflexes slow down, timing slows down, your legs don't cooperate as much, all of a sudden you start getting hit more. And you're not able to do things at the pace that you did it before, where you were able to make guys miss all night long, use your legs all night long, keep separation all night long, never let it get into the kind of fight that wears you out. See, when you're younger and you have that style, you can keep space. Muhammad Ali, when he came back after the 3.5 year exile from boxing, he came back. He didn't have the legs no more. He couldn't do that. When he was young, he could keep separation, and he could do it for 15 rounds because back in those days, it was 15-round fights, then later 12-round fights. But he could do it all night long. And Farmer could do that earlier on. And then all of a sudden, you're not able to. So you have to pick your moments. You have to pick your side. You have to be judicious with what you got. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to say, wait, how much I can move enough, maybe a half a round, and then the other half a round, I got to stay there and move my head. I can't use my legs. I can move a quarter of a round, then 3/4 of a round. I got to get on the ropes and I got to make a miss and I got to, counter back in between. And you start to have your offense now has to be more important in some ways than your defense. Where almost like the guys that you never thought you would be, where you have to become a guy where your offense is your defense, where you don't have the legs, you don't have the head for the whole night. So there's going to be spots that you got to have to punch more. What does that mean? That means you have to stand in front more. That means you have to exchange more. That means you have to gamble more. That means you're going to get hit more. That means you're more exciting to watch. We love Farmer. We love him. And I love him. I love what he's about. I love that he don't complain. I love that he doesn't cry, oh, you're robbing me, you're doing this, you didn't give it. He just goes and says, okay, let's sign the next contract. And he goes in there and gives you everything he's got. But when you're that kind of defensive fighter, part of the reason people don't appreciate you, take Shakur Stevenson, good, tremendous fighter, tremendous champion, tremendous talent. He don't have to throw a lot. He don't have to throw a lot. And anyone argue with me that, please stop. It's not my vertical this time. This time I'm right. You can't argue with me because people will say, oh, I want to see him throw more. But he don't have to. He will someday. He will. There'll be fights where he will. And I think he will do it. We'll find out. But he don't have to. His defense is so good. You get to this point, the point I'm making is you get to this point where those abilities, they leave you. Now you got to be the guy you never had to be. Now you got to be that offensive guy to keep the guy off you. You have to throw more. And now he throws more. And like I said, he's a TV pleasing, fan friendly fighter now. But I appreciated how he got through. I don't know how he got through the 5th round. The 5th round, he took so many body shots. If you're going to fight a guy who's cute, you want to go to the body. And that's what Zepeda did. He went to the body because the body don't move. The head moves, the body don't move. And he went to the body and he started hitting him all kinds of bodies. Now look, neither guy is a big puncher. If they were, there would have been a knockout in this fight. Farmer probably would have knocked him out in the last round, maybe. Who knows? But Zepeda would have probably stopped Farmer if he was a bigger puncher, too. You can't take that many shots. But in the 5th round, Farmer was getting overwhelmed. It looked like literally the high tide had come in. The ocean had come in, and all the beach chairs were wiped off of the beach. There was nothing but water. There was nothing left. Just the ocean took over. It looked like that was the scene in the 5th round for Farmer. The high tide finally came in, and that was it. It was time for the lifeguards to say, everybody out. This is over. But no, somehow he stayed. Wow. That's what you call special character. That's what you call. And now look, I thought the ref could have stopped it. That's how much punishment he was taking. I thought the corner could have stopped it. They weren't gonna, but I thought he was taking that much. He reminds me a little bit of Arturo Gatti in a way where, not that he gets hit as much as Gatti did in that kind of way, but the resiliency, the way Gatti would get hurt and then come back. The resiliency of this man to come back. Now, that's not just physical. That's just not DNA. That's a choice. That's character. That's what that is. It's a mix of all those things. Farmer in that fifth round, wow. And then he comes back and wins the sixth. He comes back and wins the sixth. So this is the guy that you're afraid to almost stop it because you don't know if you should or not because the guy is so resilient that he'll come back the next round and turn it around a little bit. If the guy has enough flaws, Zepeda has enough defensive flaws where Farmer could come back and hurt him, slow him down, because he's available himself. What I was very impressed with, and I want to make a point of, is I thought Zepeda won the fight. I thought Farmer came on strong in the late rounds, and you have to look at who's landing the cleaner, more effective punches. There were rounds where Farmer did that with the uppercut, with some really nice, clean, beautiful punches, beautiful counter punching inside. The thing that got me about this fight, Bud, was Farmer. He made choices. Like he knew that I'm going to have to take a little bit of a problem here. I'm going to have to deal with it because I can only fight for half of the round. I can only use my legs for half. I got to stay on the ropes. I got to make a miss. I got to do that. He was picking his spots. It was brilliant. He was saving for down the road to give himself a chance to win, not to survive. That's the thing. He wasn't doing it to survive. I've seen guys do it to survive. He was doing it to give himself a chance to win down the stretch. And he did in the last round. He saved enough, just enough. And I was like, wait a minute. Am I seeing things? Am I giving him too much credit? Is Farmer really that brilliant? Is he that special that he actually saved a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there, so he could make a run in the 12th? And at the end of the day, I've been in the boxing 50 years. You know what? I made a decision. Yeah, he did. Yeah, this son of a gun, he did. My hat's off to you, Mr. Farmer. He did. In that last round, he had enough left to make a run and to have a chance to knock out Zepeda and win Zepeda, whatever the frick, and win the fight. He came this close. Just not a good enough puncher and just not quite enough left. But he gave himself a chance. That's what it's all about. He gave himself, and he thought it out. He planned it out. He figured it out. Wow. It wasn't just, boom, boom, boom. I know it was that. I get it. But it was also something more than that. We have to appreciate that. We have to give these special men appreciation when they can use their mind in the middle of a furnace. Who can use their mind when they're in the middle of a furnace? But he did. He did. He found the places that weren't quite as hot. Whenever the door opened up to put more wood into the furnace, he took a breath. He ran over and went, just enough to keep him when the door closed. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Look, Zepeda kept coming. He's a fun guy to watch. But, that's only going to keep up for so long, too. You know what I mean? That gig is going to be up. That gig's going to be up one day when he can hit a guy that could do what Farmer did with more power and a little fresher. Zepeda's the fresher fighter. Like I said, there's miles on that odometer of Farmer. I got to finish with this. I gave him everything I wanted, my love. I got to finish with this, though. Please, I hope he's got people around him that give him love, that know that there will be a price to pay for these kind of fights. Potentially. I hope not. I hope not. But every good thing comes to an end. And when you're taking that kind of punishment, you can't run that many fights back and forth too close to each other. Please give him a rest. Please give him the love that he gives you. He gives all of us with the performance he gives us. Give him that love back. Protect him. Look out for him. Don't take for granted that he's just resilient, that he's just this guy that finds a way. Yeah, he's all of that. but he's also human. And those punches, they do have an impact. They do have a lasting effect. Think about that. Think about when the next time you put in, how close, or you put him in a fight. Give him more space. Give him more time. And pick a couple fights and then make a plan for your exit too. Your exit from this brutal sport. Because he deserves you to think that way for him.